Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting with me, Carl Froch.
And me, Rachel Froch. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel.
So today we've got a special edition for you. It's been 10 years to the day since St. George Groves and myself met in the centre of the ring in Manchester. Cannot believe where the time's gone. Today we're going to reflect on that magnificent fight.
So, can you believe it's been 10 years?
I can't know. 10 years, a whole decade's gone. Rocco, he was 3 years old. He's now 13.
Oh my goodness.
Little baby.
That's past.
Quick. It's because we can remember it so vividly.
Yeah.
Such a big occasion, such a big event.
Well, I'm gonna ask you a few questions about it.
Let's go.
So what was the thing that you remember the most? Was it the build-up, the rivalry, the ending?
What did I remember most about the first Groves fight? Well, the build-up was very memorable. I mean, he literally wound me into a frenzy. I hated him, didn't I? Hate's a really strong word.
Yeah.
It's all negative emotions with hate, but I properly hated him. I thought he was a proper little prick. I couldn't stand him. I wanted to cave his head in. It sounds horrible. I was a fighter. He's disrespecting me. He's playing down my achievements.
Yeah.
I've sparred him and I thought, I've helped you out in sparring. You was a decent amateur. You've turned pro. Because I was on like a friendly thing with him, because David Hay trained with him and Adam Booth.
Yeah.
I considered him a bit of a friend, not a proper mate, but like an acquaintance or a colleague at work. So then when I first started to talk to him about the fight, it could have been, I was expecting him to be quite maybe friendly. Oh, yeah, I hadn't seen you for ages, but he came straight in. Oh. No, he was straight in with like, you're not good enough, you're slow, you do everything wrong. It was straight on with the insults, and I was fuming.
So go back to the very beginning then. When Eddie Hearn asked you if you'd fight him, or told you, however you want to word it, how did you feel? What was your initial reaction?
I didn't think it was a big enough fight. I didn't put Groves in a position where I thought he was ready to fight for a world title. And in my head, I thought this is going to be an easy fight, but nobody's going to be interested. The main thing was no one's going to be interested. I beat Butane, an amazing comeback fight after the Ward loss. And then I had that Yusuf Mack fight. But then Mikkel Kessler rematch, pay-per-view on Sky in Manchester. No, that was at the O2 Arena, sorry. That was just an amazing event, an amazing night between two warriors. So me and Mikkel Kessler were mates, but we had a proper fight. So after I won that and doing that dance show with you, I had a bit of a celebrity taste of what the celebrities go through, hair and makeup done, getting paid to be on TV. And I just thought, one more, maybe two more fights. Las Vegas, big name, head up in the lights on the Vegas Strip. George Groves, Manchester. I just thought, no, this ain't happening. But Eddie Hearn said, listen, I've got him into a mandatory position. This could be a big fight. Everyone loves a domestic rivalry. And I was like, what does Eddie know what he's talking about? Did
Eddie then promote George Groves?
Well, George Groves was a free agent.
Right, okay.
Hence the reason Eddie Hearn, when he sat ringside and the fight got stopped, which we'll talk about, he wasn't clapping and he wasn't jumping in celebrating with me because he was thinking, oh, hang on a minute, George is still a free agent. So he was on the keeping my...
All right,
just keeping his options open.
Everybody sweet.
Don King used to get him with the American flag and the English flag, and whoever won, he'd fly the flag of the guy that's won. That was like his famous thing, Don King. American flag in one hand, English flag in the other. But anyway.
Right, so you've got the training camp. We did a dance show, Stepping Out, on ITV1. And did it mess up all your training schedules?
You have to mention the dance show.
No, because this is going forward in the...
Bit of Bangra.
Why we're talking about it. This is your training camp.
Bit of cha-cha-cha.
Are you blaming me, or I'm blaming me?
Yeah, well,
for the training camp.
Listen, after the Kessler fight, I got the taste of the celebrity stardust, and that was doing a dance show on ITV, Stepping Out. Google it, you'll have a look. You'll see me dressed in a Bangra outfit with eyeliner on and lipstick.
It was like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah,
because I can't dance and neither can he.
She was better than me.
But you've got two left feet.
Yeah, well, I was awful. I can sing a bit though. I'm a music man, really.
Stop. Let's go. Let's leave it.
So. But anyway, so the build-up and the dance show hindered my fitness and my training camp, and I think overall my performance on the night. But I was still a seasoned professional. I'd still been in numerous world title fights. Mikkel Kessler twice. Arthur Abraham, Andre Ward, Jean Pascal, all these big fights, Lucian Bute, big world title fights, 12 rounders, didn't it all go 12 rounds? But when you've got all that experience, you probably don't need a 10, 12-week camp. You can get away with having a 6-week camp. But when I walked to the ring, I was ill-prepared and I was nervous thinking, I've not took this kid very seriously. And George Groves mentioned on his podcast that David Hay came in the changing rooms, and I was like, "Oh, this is like my easy fight. This is like you fighting Audley Harrison." And the Haymaker was like, "No, it's not. Make sure you switched on. Groves can fight." And I was like, "Yeah, I know he can fight, but I'm trying to ease up a little bit. I want a bit of positive feedback." But David done me a favour because that sort of switched me on. But on the ring walk out of the freezing cold changing rooms, I was walking to the ring thinking to myself, I could be in trouble here. So one of the big factors in that fight was the first round knockdown. Nobody expected me to get chinned in round one and dropped. And the crowd went mad. He saw David Hay and Amir Khan eating the sandwiches in the Sky Studios.
I love that clip.
And Dave was like watching it and choking on his sandwich. The crowd, it was like, oohs and ahs. Me getting dropped by Groves in round one was fantastic for everyone except for me. It was amazing. What did you think when I got flattened in round one?
You know what? I think I kind of stood off my seat and I kind of went, well, that woke you up, didn't it?
Yeah, certainly. Because they put me to sleep, didn't wake me up. But I know what you mean.
But ill-prepared, not training properly. And I thought, well, it serves you right. You better get on with it now.
That's your life.
Chop, chop.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. So you kind of understood that I'd not took the camp that seriously, or as serious as I should have done.
Yeah, and taking George Groves not very seriously
took
either.
Him lightly.
Yeah.
So when I got dropped, you was like, wake-up call.
Yeah.
Fair
but
enough.
It didn't worry me in any way. It did and it didn't. Not to the point where I thought you were going to lose. But I literally thought, right, you've been woken up now. Yeah. Let's go to work.
And that goes on to when I sat back down in the corner. I mean, when I stood up and kind of recovered and slumped back on the ropes, and I stumbled back onto the ropes, then Howard Foster had a look at me and I went, listen, let's go. I'm all right. And he said, where are you? I'm in Manchester. He asked you a few questions to make sure you can respond. Okay. And he brought us back together, and Groves came in with a left hook, a right hook, a left hook, and then the bell went, and it were 2 more shots after the bell, but anything goes. The referee's job to get in there in the right time. I sat down in my corner, and Rob McCracken was like, keep your guard up, don't reach in over your front foot, get behind your jab, stop forcing it. Because like I said earlier, I hated George Groves, I hated him. I wanted to smash his head in, and it sounds horrible and it sounds brutal, but boxing it's beautifully brutal. But it's a sport we love, but we're trying to smash each other in the face as hard as we can. Not with the Hall of Fame ring on. Just smash him in the face. I was trying to knock him out. I didn't like him. He'd done a brilliant job in winding me up on that whole build-up. And I was fuming. And because of that, forget being ill-prepared. All them fights I could draw on and all that experience, I was good enough to be in there with George Groves. I wasn't at my fittest, but I never let fitness slow me down. I'm fit anyway, fit and strong. Fit now, look at me, I'm like a machine. Aren't I? Proper, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like round one dropped, come out round two, and I've got to be honest.
So how did you feel then after? Let me just stop you there. How did you feel then when you got dropped in round one? What were you saying to yourself?
Well, I was listening to Rob and I was thinking, I should really get back behind the jab. I should box and try and get back into it. But the pride in me and the man in me and I want to get even. I didn't want to just get behind my jab and slowly try and box and move and set traps and try and get him to walk onto a right hand like he walked me onto. I wanted to hit him and hurt him. So I kind of ignored what Rob said and just went with my instinct. And I'm a fighting man on the hard road. But I'm a fighter. I love to fight. I love to stand and never tear up. I just do. So I went out round two and I met him in the middle of the ring. And I tried to have a fight with him. I kept trying to hit him with a big shot. In my head, I thought, if I land a big right hand on the chin, he's going to fall over. He's going to be gone. And like he did in sparring with that big gloves. I just thought, he can't take a punch. I just need to hit him. And because I was trying to hit him so much, I was opening up the punches and I was a split second behind him. He's got quicker hands than me, George Groves. And I was a split second behind. Every time I loaded up to try and send a shot in, he saw it come in and got me first. So I have never been beaten up so badly. In all the world title fights I've had, I've got to give George Groves the credit. 6 rounds of a pure beating. Maybe I've got a couple of rounds on the build-up to round 6 were close. Maybe the scorecards could have gone either way because I was starting to get to his body and starting to back him up. But the round 1 drop, getting dropped in round 1, and then round 2, 3, 4, 5, and then round 6, I got absolutely hammered. He hit me with everything, including the kitchen sink. And it was a bad night for me. It really was. But
so did you feel like going towards maybe round 3, 4, and 5? Did you feel like, right, I'm getting him here? or was it literally just like you were over trying and missing, or
that's what it was, the latter. I was over trying, I was missing. I was getting a few shots off, I was landing a few shots, I was still in it, but I could feel my lip getting bigger, my nose was getting sore, my eye was starting to swell up. I think I was caught, I was missing with shots, I was getting caught off balance, I felt a bit unsteady going back to my corner after a couple of rounds, like where I'd been caught and probably concussed, and it was bad. That's why I said it was probably one of the listen, I've got to give George Groves credit.
Yeah.
He fought one hell of a fight. That was his first world title fight. Like I said earlier, I didn't give George Groves any respect, and he made sure I respected him in them first six rounds, because I think in round 7, that was the turning point.
So when the referee came in between you and said, right, stop the fight, that's enough, how did you feel then?
At the end of any fight, when it stopped in your favour, it's relief as well as elation, and you celebrate and you've won. But the timing of the stoppage, I wasn't satisfied because, like I said earlier, I didn't like him. I hated him. I wanted to finish him off. I wanted to hit him with that many shots unanswered on the chin, either knock him out with one punch or just see his face swelling up. Like round after round in boxing, you try and close their eyes sometimes. You close their eye, they're blind in one eye. You try and break the nose, get them bleeding, and then the blood goes down the back of your throat, and then it hinders your breathing. Sorry, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So it disrupts your breathing. So if you can't breathe, you can't get your energy, you can't recover. Your eyes closing, you can't see properly, or you've got blood in your eye, you can't see straight, and everything's blurry. So you break your opponent down by hitting him in the face.
And that gives you confidence then?
Well, yeah, and then you think, I'm getting to him. And George was marking up. If you look at his face after the fight, he did have marks, because he'll argue he didn't get hit with a punch, and the fight was stopped ridiculously too early by Howard Foster, and he still digs his heels in. And when we do evenings with, he still maintains that fight was stopped too early. And I can say that from the audience perspective and from the layman or the armchair fan, the fight maybe was stopped a little bit early. The fight could have gone on. It was inconclusive, wasn't it? But in round 9, by the time we got to round 9, I was backing him up, closing him and getting to him. And there wasn't a one-sided whooping. I didn't demolish him or anything like that, but I hit him with an overhand right. And then his legs did a bit of a shake. And I saw he was hurt. And the commentator said, Froch is going to have to finish it here. He's going to put it on him. There's Jim Watt and Nick Halling commentating. And you see me run at George. And as I ran at him, I smothered my work. And he grabbed hold of me and I pushed him off. Then Howard Foster came in the middle, separated us. George is still gone on his legs. Howard Foster has seen that the big sneak overhand right he grows with. Yeah. He was still feeling the effects of it. Then I run it and pushed him against the ropes, backed him up, and it was a right hand clean on the chin, left up clean on the chin. His head bounced back. Then he came forward trying to look for the grab. That's what you do. If you're in trouble, go for the grab. If you don't want to fight back, I always fight back. I never look to hold. I'm not saying that he's some kind of wimp looking to hold, but he was trying to grab hold of me and survive. I hit him with a right hand and another left hook as he came into hold, and it got messy. It came close. His arms dropped. Howard Foster was looking to stop the fight and getting in between us. And at the stage when Howard Foster sort of had hold of Groves, he had him in a headlock through this way, and George's arms were dropped. Now, listen, if you're not in a position to defend yourself and your arms are sagging and your head's down, Howard Foster didn't jump on top of him and get him in a headlock. He got hold of him and stopped him from me hitting him anymore. So for me, it was a justifiable stoppage, albeit it could have gone on. It was slightly early, but it was a justifiable stoppage because George was concussed and he was getting hit. But as a fan and even as a fighter, I wanted the fight to go on. But referees can see the look in your eyes. They can see your legs are going.
Well, they're in the ring with you.
He's got me hitting George with shots. George is slumping. He's thinking, if this goes on, Froch is going to end up hurting him bad. He was 10 years younger than me, George Groves. He's still a kid. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he saved him for another day, which worked out well.
Referees
but the crowd, the commentator, the press, everybody thought that fight was stopped too early. And it felt to me like I'd been beat. You know what it was like? The press, the way it got received, even back in the changing rooms after.
Definitely.
It was quiet, wasn't it? It was.
So just hold that thought a moment. So we're just going to go back to the announcement of when they announced the results and obviously the winner at the end of the fight. So you've got the referee holding both of the fighters' gloves. We're going to show
me
a
and
clip.
George. Yeah,
so we're going to show a clip now of you two actually going at it, or what looks like going at it. Can you just tell me what you're saying to each other in the ring here?
We have a little chat. me and George have a little chat about the fight. He tries to shake my hand. I've got to be honest, I don't like him. I didn't like him. I used to like him. Then I hated him. And then when I forced a stoppage, I'm not his friend. I don't all of a sudden like him because I've just beat him up. So he puts his hand out to shake my hand and tries to have a chat. I'm like, I'm not shaking your hand. You can put your fucking hand back in your pocket. I don't want to fucking shake your hand. I'm not your mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. And because he was bitching and moaning so much about the stoppage and he got the crowd going and booing, he'd done a great job really because he got them involved.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't want to shake your hand. And then I think what I said to him was, you was gone. You was done. It's fucking game over. You got beat fair and square. Stop fucking bitching. It was along them lines.
Yeah.
I don't know word for word, but I was like, I'm not shaking your hand and stop being a sore loser. Stop bitching and moaning about the stoppage because I could hear the crowd getting behind him. And then the announcement got made. I got my hand raised because I won the fight and I didn't want to talk to him. And at the end on the interview, probably didn't do himself any favours. I said the referee did a great job stopping the fight.
Yeah.
And then I did say, maybe we'll do it again. Maybe we'll get the rematch.
Yeah.
I offered him the rematch there straight away. And there was no obligation for an immediate rematch because I was champ and he was challenger. But what a fight.
So a little word on George Groves then. You are mates now, but can you tell us what he's done for you personally?
I think he made me grow as a person, made me appreciate that, one, I'm not always right. I can be a bit stubborn and a little bit pig-headed. But when I was boxing, I was an athlete and I was a winner, and I always want to win. And that what comes with that is it's not arrogance, it's confidence. But I suppose it's a bit of both. I was very meticulous in my training, so when I didn't take him seriously and I was doing that dance show and all that, I realised if I'm going to continue fighting, I've got to do it properly, which is what I did in the rematch. But it taught me how to forgive as well, because years later we worked together on a Sky Sports broadcast. Can't remember which fight it was. He'll probably remember, but I've said before, he came in the production meeting and I made a beeline for him, went over to him, had a chat, shook his hand. And then since then, we've done tours up and down the country. Froch Groves, the reunion, talking about the first and the second fight. And he's a good laugh, George. He's a family man. He's got his wife. He's got his children. He's got same and similar values to me. You know, he wants to be as healthy as possible. He puts a bit of weight on, but he's conscious about his health. He still does a bit of fitness. He's got his own podcast now, but his kids in school, talking to him about his wife, investing his money wisely so he don't run out of cash, and just being the world champion. And
you're pretty similar then.
Yeah, we've got a lot in common. I like George. I did a little clip the other day on my Instagram. Yeah. We had a wine, didn't we? We had another meet and greet. A guy called Jess Harding, if anyone knows him, but he puts an event on JBD events, and we've done quite a lot with Matt Maker as well. And
you do. You get on really well.
We've become. It's a little bit of a bromance here, as me and George. Imagine us two in the jungle or something with Tony Bellew. It'd be like a big love affair, wouldn't it?
But don't you think it's great for Tony actually just
absolutely,
touching
yeah.
on that? He can bring boxing to the forefront.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I'm behind Tony.
I'll be voting, Tony to win.
I'll be voting for Tony Bellew to eat all them kangaroo nuts. So that's little snippets from the first George Groves fight, which was 10 years today, and obviously we've skimmed over it. There's so much in the build-up. There's so much during the fight. There's so much after the fight. But what I'd take totally from it, that George Groves is a good guy, is now I hold him as a what did I say, dear friend. I really like him. Like, I phone him up, I speak to him on a weekly basis. Honestly, it's mad.
Did you ever think you were going to say that?
Never. If there's anybody out there that hates somebody or thinks they don't like him, trust me, there's always a way, and it's through communication. It's through talking, looking into their eyes, and just having it out. And
I like that.
Yeah, you can. You can really like build friendship from a place of real bad animosity and a place where you think
so negative.
It's not going to happen. Yeah. And me and George now, we're good mates. I've got so much respect for him because, like I said earlier, he went on and became a world champion in his own right. And it's been nice. It's been nice talking about it, and it's been nice hearing some of your bits as well.
Yeah, I know, definitely. I do like to talk about it.
And the story didn't end there. Obviously, we had the rematch, which was needed, and that happened at Wembley Stadium in front of all them people. But we'll do that in May next year because that'll be the 10-year anniversary since 80,000 fans came to Wembley Stadium to watch George Groves get rendered unconscious.
You had to get that in there, didn't you?
You don't mind.
So that's been it for Froch on Fighting this week.
Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe.
We certainly have. I've really enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
I love chatting away about it all.
And we'll see you next time.